Hey, this is Garrett Burrell. I'm out here with Barry Moore and Clay Reagan. They're both cops or retired cops, and also part of the Public Safety U.S. Response Team of North Texas. And we've been testing out some new software, and it's working really good. Some of you might have heard it, called SkyeBrowse. It's a competitor to the Pix4D type of products, but we find that this is actually better for public safety, for your stuff like your fatality accidents, your structure fires, crime scenes and stuff like that. So what I want to do, we're out here actually at Barry's house. He has us out here. We're spending some time together. We want to do a little demo out here. We're just going to fly. We have a couple vehicles out there, and we're going to fly as if that brown Dodge out there was a vehicle of interest or an accident or whatever, and just show you the time that it takes to process this. Some of the things that are superior about SkyeBrowse is the ability to the speed that it takes to process it, the accuracy, and everything else. And so let's go ahead and Barry, if you're ready, just go ahead and take off and show us what it's got. And Clay's going to start a stopwatch as soon as Barry takes off. So there he goes. All right. Got the stopwatch running.
Okay, the horizon looks good there.
And so one of the things that we did just the other day, what Clay did, is he actually put SkyeBrowse in the hands. Of course, he was overwatching the whole process, but he actually put this in the hands of an officer who had never flown a UAS before. And the simplicity of SkyeBrowse allowed him to actually capture a full 3D model. And so here's what we're going to do. You press a button, SkyeBrowse, take it 2. All right, and here we go.
And that occurred in less than a minute.
All right, and so we're at 1 minute now. All right, now you'll see Barry's hands are doing nothing. All right. He's doing right now. All he is watching the drone as the pilot in command, and SkyeBrowse is taking care of everything for him. Now, one of the key things is SkyeBrowse uses video instead of still shots, and it allows you can actually pick the amount of detail depending on your needs. You can fly at one altitude or multiple altitudes to capture more details, say at your lower altitude, your low level details, versus just what you need. And that just depends on what you need. If it was kind of a wide open area, you may just need one pass. If it's something more like a fatality accident or something, then of course you're going to want to do 2. And in this case, Barry has chosen 2. And it's going. So we're up to 2 minutes now. And so the other thing that we're going to show you in just a minute is you have multiple options on how to upload. So one of the things that's really nice about SkyeBrowse, instead of having to go back to the station and then upload everything and then wait for things to happen, or having to own a Cray computer system, some high-powered computer system just to process this, you can either just upload it from your mobile device straight while you're on scene, or you can upload it via SD card, kind of a more traditional way, whichever one you prefer. So is it done?
It's done.
Okay, it's actually done processing it.
That's about 2 minutes, because we were at a minute when it took off.
Okay. All right. So from the time that we got out there and said go until right now is 3 minutes, and Barry's actually bringing it in for the flight. So the next thing that we're going to do as soon as Barry lands, so we're gonna look at the time on this from takeoff to landing is, all right, so we just landed and time is, there it is, 3 minutes and 27 seconds. All right, so the next thing that we're going to show you on this is Barry's now going to initiate the upload on this thing. Go ahead. All right, and then we started a new timer. So this would be, the next step would be how long it would take you to actually process this video. Now I'm actually gonna stop this recording now, but we're gonna have this timer going, and whenever this thing is done uploading and then we're at the computer and able to take measurements and stuff like that, we're gonna let the timer go until we can actually use this video. So that'll tell you your total time from you go to the time that you can actually start using this as a measurement tool.
I think it's also important to note that if you're taking this for an accident scene, obviously in 3 minutes you were up, running, you took the entire scene of that accident, and you're now landed. So you would literally have that whole thing processed, or at least the flight process before the first wrecker ever arrives.
Yeah, 3 minutes and you can have all the information you need. Okay, well, we'll be back with you in just a little bit. We've got this timer going, and we'll be back with you whenever we can start taking measurements. All right, just a quick update. So we've now moved inside. Remember whenever we last showed it was uploading, it's now done. The download from the aircraft to the mobile device is complete. That took roughly 10.5 minutes. So the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to upload that to the SkyeBrowse so that it can be processed. So Barry, if you want to go ahead and show that process.
Here's the date, the time. Here you can preview your flight to see if you like it. But we're going to hit upload to get this upload going. So now it's showing it's uploading.
Okay. And we're going to keep the timer going, just so you know. We're going to keep it going continuous because, again, this is the time from the time that you land to the time that you can start taking measurements as we've shown. So we'll be back as soon as this is done uploaded and we can start working with the model. Okay, quick update. So from the time that we landed till now it is uploaded 100%. So basically 20 minutes, 21 minutes to get there. What we're waiting on now, it's on the SkyeBrowse servers and it's being processed, and we'll keep the timer going. So we'll show you again, the goal is from time you land to the time that you can actually start working with the models. So we'll be back whenever it's done. All right, so we're back and it's done. So time to land until the time it's ready to start taking measurements is basically 31 minutes. It's been a few. We just looked in and just noticed that if you move that out, you'll see it goes blue whenever the model is ready for you to use. Now, one of the things I want to really point out here before we go any further is the time that it takes. And any of us that have been using Pix4D, and by the way, I'm not bashing on Pix4D. I use Pix4D. I've used it on several things. The thing is and the whole reason for me making any of these videos is I think this is a better solution for public safety in some situations, and especially your traffic accidents, your structure fires, your stuff like that. The speed of this thing is incredible. That's the one thing I hear over and over about. It takes a whole day to generate a map, or sometimes up to 3 days to generate a model. Where now, from the time that you land to the time that you can start working with it, taking measurements, 30 minutes, and that's huge. Usually that's, hey, I've landed it, now I go back to the station, and it usually takes longer than 30 minutes to get back to the station by the time you tell everybody what you did and what you're doing, and talk to the incident command and everything else. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one that we just flew. One of the things I want to point out real quick is this is on the SkyeBrowse server. The SkyeBrowse server is CGIS secured, so you don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. So here, go ahead and let's zoom in. And again, you saw what we were taking out there. This is that truck. And as we go around, we can look at all the details. You can see man, Barry, y'all need to like repave your street.
Nice. Now taxes at work.
And but anyway, we can zoom in, we can look around, we can take measurements, and this is a measurable 3D model of that vehicle. Now, of course, that's Clay's nice truck parked down the street. That's my older Chevy parked behind it. But anyway, hey, my cab's bigger than yours. Look at that. Anyway, thanks. This is the model that we just flew on and just took 30 minutes ago. Can we go ahead and let's take a measurement. Let's just get how from bumper to bumper, how long that truck is. All right. So one of the things we can do, we can do it's again a 3D model. So it's 20 feet and 20.67 feet. We can take and do volumetric measurements. So if you wanted to, or let's do area. So if you want to know the area of that truck is in, we can do an area measurement real quick. That's your tool set up here on the left. Okay, so we're going to do Barry's yard. So Barry, if you need to know how much weed killer you need, so there you got that part of your yard is 1,261 square feet, 1,262 square feet. So very nice. Again, you can do all your measurements and everything else. So this is the one that we just flew and we just took. It's the quality is impressive, equal to, if not better than anything else I've seen out there as far as that goes. So a couple of other things I want to show you, and I want to really get Clay and Barry to chime in. So we've been testing this thing out. I've been personally flying SkyeBrowse for a few months now. I really wanted to run this through the ringer before I put it out there and recommended it to public safety. Again, I think it's the best product out there, especially for this kind of a 3D model that we would generate. So the next thing that I want to look at, there's a one called a crush factor. We can go ahead and...
So before you get away from that, this basically is about the same size area that yesterday in Midlothian we had one of our traffic guys that had no experience at all flying any kind of UAS, has never flown one other than toys in his house in his life, and start to finish took about the same amount of time and about the same amount of area. So somebody that doesn't really have any basic knowledge was able to do this with no problem at all.
And we saw how easy it was for Barry to do it, but again, it's so simple, and compared to other solutions out there, this is so simple yet so accurate that, like what Clay said, you could take and have a complete novice, as long as they're qualified to fly, of course. But the learning curve on this is pretty much nil. Okay, let's go over to the next one that we want to show, the crush factor on the cars. Okay. So this is one that was created, and it has significance. I'm going to let Clay and Barry do more speaking on this in their cop terminology, but this right here has huge significance. And this, again, I've told you this SkyeBrowse is the best that I have seen, the best that I know of for both the speed and the accuracy and efficiency on things just like this. So Clay, what do you see here from a cop's perspective?
So these two vehicles were actually actual vehicles that collided with each other. This is from a DA's office here in the United States, and they pretty much did markings out so you could explain the size of it. But the crush factor, and all the traffic guys will certainly understand that, is extremely important. So we're going to basically show the crush factor, and that we can remove all the static from this picture.
And what's impressive about this is the ease of use. How easy you can go over here and just take a section of this vehicle and pull it out and just make it its own image. So that, to me, it's amazing.
So we can do the crush factor, obviously, and then we can remove the vehicle from here and look at it basically from any side, and then to kind of isolate it. And obviously, really quick, we can put it back into the picture so you can see full scale of what's going on.
So that's a very valuable tool to be able to isolate and do measurements. Now you can do measurements on these, the little submodels and everything else too. But this really allows you to get in and figure out what you want to do. So this is removing part of it. So you can do additive, and you can do. You can remove that part of it if you want to get below and get rid of the top of that model. Okay, very nice.
And then the marks, you can actually show the marks on the line on the ground were actually written down or spray painted.
Can you kind of show us the accuracy of that?
So that's one thing that one of the very first things I did when I started testing SkyeBrowse is I went out and I actually took a tape measure and I did a measurement between like cracks in a driveway and cracks in the road, and then measured the height of an 18-wheeler from the ground and this kind of stuff. And I took those measurements, screenshot them, then took a tape measure out there, and they were extremely accurate. All the measurements are extremely accurate, it's really to the point of your mouse detail. You know, it's the accuracy is how close you can click to that crack. So
and this is obviously in metric, but it's also measurable in imperial.
yeah, of course, yeah. And we did have to make sure that there was we have imperial units. I mean, we're here in America, right? We got to have hot dogs, cheeseburgers, cold beer, and imperial units. and of course, there's only been one unit system that's flown to the moon. I just got to get that in there too. All right. So the next one that I want to go to, let's move on to the next one in the interest of time, is there's also a feature in SkyeBrowse. They call it wide browse. Now, wide browse is the ability, it's more of kind of your higher level, wide type of area. This one was actually captured yesterday in Barry's jurisdiction. I'll let him talk about that a little bit and what it was used for and its usefulness.
Yeah, we did this yesterday. This is over a mile in length, and it took about anywhere from about 10 to 20 minutes. It basically, they're having a marathon go through here actually today. So we shot this yesterday so the command could get a visual of where they would be going into this intersection, and they could make the proper decisions they needed to make to put elements in those areas for traffic control. But just the ability to print out a map, a 3D map, a model this way, and to get it to your command staff the next day to be able to make informed decisions is just invaluable.
And on this, since we're looking at this wide area thing, one of the things that the answers that we got from this is that the formats, the export formats from the SkyeBrowse and wide browse, they are Esri/GIS file format export. So you can export these and pull them right into Esri or GIS, which I think is significant. So anyway, I want to give you a little quick shot again. This one is relevant, just used yesterday, actually. By a local it was Mansfield Police Department. So good. Next one I want to go to, and this one is pretty significant to me because there's been many incidents that I've flown on where this is important. So this is a building. So we've looked at a street, a wider type of area. We've looked at vehicles. We shot this this area right here where we're at. This one is going to be more of an office building. So for your structure fires, for your crime scenes where, oops, hang on, had a little bump there. It's okay. For the crime scenes, for the anything where you're going to have a building and a parking lot kind of stuff, this is very relevant to that. Now, one of the things that's important on this to note is that not only can you zoom in and get some good detail, you can actually get down here and look at the leaves on the street for the details and stuff like that. But if you need to isolate this as well, say if you needed to look at a front door, that same cross-section thing that we showed for the crush factor, or the fatality type accidents, you can do the exact same thing and isolate particular areas of interest on a building. So let's say this is some kind of a crime scene and you just wanted to isolate out of the model a particular area to really do investigation on that and maybe do some measurements and stuff like that. This will really allow you to get in there and focus on that one particular area. So I think this is a fantastic tool.
Zoom it in, buddy.
Yep. So I think this is a fantastic capability within this 3D modeling. And then of course you can, by the way, the cropping ability or this sub model is non-destructive. So just because that's there and you can see it's kind of been removed in this case, doesn't mean that the model itself is actually damaged or anything like that. So you can take and can just turn that off. And there it is. Everything's back to the original model. So go ahead and have Clay and Barry chime in on this one and tell them from their police perspective what they see significant on that.
So the cool thing on this is the sharpness of the detail when you come down to the corners, like on the where the street meets the curb. Those kind of sharp details are good. And I've heard a few people say, you know, there's some pixels missing, or it's not 100% filled in. I think that's very important when you come to the DA's office to have a clean as-is picture, or clean as in model. If you have a model that automatically fills everything in, it looks maybe a little bit cleaner, but it's not a true and correct representation of the model that was taken on that day at that time. So I think that's important to note.
Well, in the ability in crime scenes in a building of this nature, say you had an active shooter or something, you had shell casings or casings on the street, you would be able to take your measurements from any point of reference there and have measurements already built in. So that's extremely important. As you can see, he's going to measure out something here. The ability to be able to do this without having to drag a tape measure around.
And you can tag on the video or the picture itself. You can tag spots that you want to measure to and from.
All right. Well, so we've shown a lot here. Think it's fantastic, but of course we want to get to the one part that I know half of them are already asked, because they usually ask it in the first 30 seconds. So Barry actually got some numbers on this. Barry, what is the cost right now? That's the other thing. I do want to chime in on one other thing. So first of all, this is already being used by some agencies in PSERT North Texas. I may have already mentioned that earlier, but it is being used and they do like it. But the other thing is, some of the other 3D modeling software out there is so darn expensive that it's really out of reach for public safety. And that really strikes a nerve with me, because again, I love technology and I want public safety to use it, but when they price it into some crazy something that only the biggest agencies in the country can afford, that really kind of irks me a little bit, because every agency needs to be able to have this kind of software to help them do their job. But anyway, Barry, what's the pricing on this?
It's $8.99 a year. That's unlimited 3D maps, which is crazy. I haven't seen anything out there that cheap. And the fact is, it's app based, so it's something you could go online to SkyeBrowse.com and get it tomorrow, and you'd be able to make 3D maps tomorrow. So it's $8.99 per user per year, unlimited maps.
Okay, cool. All right, well, there you have it. Anyway, I highly encourage all of y'all to go and check this out if you're looking for 3D mapping solutions, and especially the ones that say, look, we don't need all this other stuff. We don't want to have to build some kind of mainframe server. We just want a really good solution that'll work for our needs. This is one that I highly recommend right now, and hopefully this helps some of y'all out, and we'll talk to you later.